White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks, who's joining me live now for more on this. Mary Alice, what's the reaction from the White House now that Brittney Griner is finally back in the U.S.?
Yeah, Diane, yesterday we heard the White House trying to be careful with their language. They're very aware that this is bittersweet for those families that still have loved ones held hostage, not coming home. And they know that these types of prisoner exchanges are typically controversial. But make no mistake, there was still a lot of smiles, a lot of celebration here at the White House. It was a good day for them yesterday, a really big win. You know, the White House feels like with everything that's going on in the world right now, the war in Ukraine, all the ways that the U.S. and Russia have essentially been going toe-to-toe this last year. The fact that they were able to keep these negotiations separate, they were able to make this exchange and get it done and bring her home, only really turning over to Russia, a man that Russia's been asking for years. They feel confident that this was a good deal in the end.
Now, that said, the administration is facing some criticism here, Mary Alice, with critics saying that releasing an arms dealer for an athlete is a bad deal. So how are they responding to that?
I mean, sure, this is always controversial when you engage in any kind of swap like this. The fear is that you encourage authoritarian governments to behave like this, to scoop up Americans off the streets for bargaining chips. That is a real and present anxiety. I think it's part of the reason you heard President Biden really urge Americans to be mindful, to be cautious when they are traveling. They know that this can be risky and can encourage bad behavior. But I think the president felt like he had a moral obligation to do everything he could to bring an American home. And at the end of the day, it was just too important to not let that opportunity go by.
Now, we heard Governor Richardson talking about this continuing effort to free Paul Whelan, and he's convinced this is going to need to be another prisoner swap. So what are the next steps here? And if we had to swap an arms dealer to get Brittney Griner home, what's it going to take to get Paul Whelan home?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it is hard to know. The White House is being really tight-lipped on what else might have been on the table, what other negotiations they were maybe putting forward to try to get both of those Americans home. But you heard Governor Richardson there say that he thought it would need to be another kind of swap, someone else that's in American custody. So whether or not that's someone who has faced similar charges to Paul Whelan, remember, the Russians, the U.S. says that these are completely trumped-up charges, but the Russians have charged Paul Whelan with basically espionage. And so whether or not it would have to be someone held in American captivity, American custody, who is basically facing similar charges, perhaps. But these are going to be really, really tough negotiations going forward, especially when you look at just the larger landscape, the relationship between the U.S. and Russia.
Yeah, it sure is. All right, Mary Alice Parks, we appreciate it as always. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.